Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Elyse Major, you are editor-in-chief at Providence Media, and I'm going to let you explain what that is because it is many things.
It is many things. So Providence Media, we produce the free lifestyle magazines, which include Providence Monthly, Eastside Monthly, the Bay Magazine, So Rhode Island, Hey Roadie, and we have like a special So Summer product that happens in South County. So it's a lot. It's a lot of publications.
So tell me what this experience with coronavirus has been like for you personally, and obviously with Providence Media, what your goals have been and what you all are up to.
Yeah, well, I think it was like around, mid-March, like for everybody else, you kind of got the order that you're going to be all working from home. And, it was like not long after that we had to lay off, the publishers made the decision that they needed to lay off like 75% of our staff. So I was the single person in editorial. And I just thought there's like my main directives were one, how do we help all the small businesses that we always talk about and also support us with their advertising? And two, it's like we need to pivot to like stories that happen right now for web content and for social media. And usually, our magazines, like most print magazines, there's usually a big lead time. So you're usually planning stories that are going to come out like 6 to 8 weeks in advance. So like we're never breaking news with the magazines. We're just kind of putting our own spin on something that, either already happened and you didn't know this little part about it, or we're like, telling a story about somebody that you don't know about, but we're never like breaking news. And as I decided we need to make this pivot to like just all the digital content, I felt like I was just scouring Twitter, finding stories, writing them, posting them, sharing them on social. So instantly I made that switch from like, I keep calling it from like the later to the now. And now, thanks to like a PPP grant, which is the payroll protection program, we have our full staff back, and we're ramping up to come out with some new special edition magazines. And it's funny because like I feel like I still want to maintain the now online, and I also want us to focus on the future for the print, and then also kind of like create this sort of circle of both of them. So it's like maybe you share something, maybe it turns into a full article, and then maybe you lead people back, digitally back to the online article. So it's almost like this like cycle of content.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had a sense of how, well, if this changes your company and, permanently, and if so, if you know what that looks like yet.
Yeah, I think it was, it's so, you're trying to find all these silver linings during this time, which is so bizarre and horrible. But I think if anything, like a gift of time, let us reflect on all the things we were doing and just sort of like, what could we tighten up a little bit? And so we're going to be announcing soon, like we're going to be merging some of the magazines, we're going to be doing things in maybe a different way. Some of the content might change. Like right now, as we're planning like our new issues, I feel like rather than just like checking off boxes, like, oh, we need to talk about, 5 new theater things or something. It's just going to be, what are the most important stories that we want to tell and what should make it into print? And I keep calling it like survival of the fittest content edition, where it's like the best stories rising to the top are going to make it into print. And that might make our magazines look a little bit different than they have before, because they might not have like all the regular columns, So yeah, it's changed it in that way.
So so before we turn the camera on, you described this, I think, as your dream job.
Yeah.
So why?
Well, I'm a transplanted Rhode Islander,
You have
and
to tell that story too.
yeah, and I love the state, and I've always loved all the small business. And, in my life before joining Providence Media, I was sort of like, had all these different positions, these freelance positions where it's like, I was the communications coordinator for communications consultant for Neighborhood Health Plan of Rhode Island for like 10 years. I did PR for the Providence Children's Film Festival. I authored some craft books. I started writing shelter features for shelter magazines, and just like this whole grab bag of stuff. I had like a blog, or I still have a blog. And it's funny, all this really started because when my boys were little, I decided that I wanted to be home with them mostly. So instead of having one office job, I had like 10, freelance jobs. And then when my oldest son started high school, I thought, well, I should just have like this one job now. And I started looking for work, and everybody just thought, oh, you should be working somewhere like Better Homes and Gardens. You're going to be bored with us. And I thought, well, that's really nice, but I'm not moving to Idaho. So, like the whole idea of being able to put all of these experiences that I've had work-wise into like this single position, it's a dream come true to be planning content, spotlighting small businesses, doing a little bit of photo styling here and there, promoting it all. It really is just a grab bag of everything I love, and I love it.
So what's been your goal for Providence Media in this time? Like, what do you see as the unique role that your voice and publications play right now? Like you said, you're not breaking news. So, what's the voice that you want to have?
I think it's really like a lifestyle magazine. It's feel-good content for like the everyday person. Like when we focus on a house, it's not like this, while it's nice to show maybe an aspirational $1 million beach house, like that's not me. Like I want to show everyday people doing special things, to make like your own little corner of the world lovely and interesting, and just really, I know I say this like ad nauseum, but like shine a spotlight on the interesting things that people are doing like right next door that you might not even realize. So I really just want people to, get off the screen, pick up this printed copy, and just enjoy, reading this nice story, and maybe get some tips, or, discover a new business that you didn't know about.
And we should say all of your magazines are free.
They're all free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're completely supported by, the display ads from the small businesses. And so, I've said this before too, but when I say like we're all in this together, like we are, like it's important for them to survive and for us to survive, Yeah.
So what has been on the personal side, how are you coping? Are you doing anything fun or interesting?
Well, I'm wearing a necklace today.
That's, I put on socks, so.
Yeah, exactly. Me personally, I think the biggest thing is I'm a little bit of a workaholic. So for me, it's mostly like stop working at 5 or 5:30. Don't work all weekend long. Take a walk, go outside. I tend to just kind of hunker in like a little mole, but I'm trying to push myself, like especially now with like our full team back, at 5 o'clock, like or 5:30, take a walk around the neighborhood or something, like just be outside a little bit. So get some fresh air and just try to like back off a little bit from like the work's important, but I know I have to have like a balance.
Yeah. And is there anything giving you hope right now? Anything that you're holding on to?
I think how resourceful everybody has been through this. I mean, it's really amazing that now like even national ads use terms like curbside pickup. I mean, this was stuff that people were doing within days of all this happening to survive. Restaurants offering like touch-free service and, meal kits to go. I think that just people are being super inventive so quickly. You just sort of like me having this be my dream job. You're like, I'm not letting this go. Like this must, and in fact, Gina Raimondo on one of her press this was her New York Times article. I think one of the final lines was, there's no option to stop. Like there's no option to stop. She repeated it twice. And that's sort of been my mantra. Like, there's no option to stop. Like, we have to just all just do what we can to make this work. And I sometimes kind of feel like, you know, if you travel to another country and maybe there's like a 6-hour time difference, when you get to that country, you can either keep saying, gee, it's 2 o'clock my time, but it's 8 o'clock here. When should I have dinner? Or you can just be like, it's 6 o'clock my time. And I kind of feel like that's what this is. It's like, it's all weird, but it's like our time. And so we just have to sort of like roll with it and do the best we can.